I've thought about doing this a lot, and finally this year I'm making a talkie to run down my albums of 2023. 2 videos in fact, one for black metal and this one for my Dungeon Synth albums of the year. It's been another fantastic year for music, if nothing else, in our turbulent world, and what better genre to offer myriad worlds to escape into than Dungeon Synth and the ever-expanding range of musical details being incorporated into it. I want to begin with some honourable mentions of fantastic albums from friends that could have featured in the final list if I'd given it another little shake. Everything the violently intimidating harsh eruption of Lichmouth released, the arcane ambience of Witch's Amulet, Hermit Knight's whimsical majesty, the sepulchral old-school rawness of Calderon, the rise to power over several releases from Dragon Tomes, Squire's regal stony grandeur, the epic full-band desolation of Sorrow Moon, RuneScape-inspired bucolic fantasy synth storytelling of Flickers from the Fen, Frith's melancholy depiction of Watership Down, and Drudenstein's postmodern field-recorded found sound folk drone conduit to ancient times, which is a perfect place to open the portal to my full top 20 albums of 2023. At number 20, Obsidian Relic, Commune. My list begins with one of my favourite releases from Dan Aidenfeld this year. Among albums from Saragost, Serpentis, Valen, this Obsidian Relic release was the one that stayed with me the most. Commune is a southern gothic horror soundscape that weaves field recordings and incidental effects into its musical narrative to create an immersive audio story of unsettling atmosphere, dread, and a dark sense of foreboding. At number 19, Fagradalsfjall, Askadruma, Nitilok's second expedition into the misty mythic Nordic folklore of his Fagradalsfjall project. 2 long pieces of haunting, transportive, ethereal folk that transcend time and place with a serenely epic quality that makes this one of my favourite releases from Ithildin Tape Productions this year. Piakdu, Pearls Upon the Rosary of Faith. One of the not Dungeon Synth but albums in this list, the one-man Western Himalayan synth cult of Piakdu creates a hallucinatory mix of Dungeon Synth, glitch, electronica and vaporwave combined into a hypnagogic delirium charged with cryptic esoteric prowess, eerie autumnal countryside nostalgia and visions of a time long forgotten. 17, Dark Soul, Goddess Light Our Paths Out of Darkness. Just one of many phenomenal releases from Realm and Ritual this year. This is an absolutely stratospheric mix of synthwave and fantasy ambient, weaving together ancient past with technostic future into a magically enchanting space-age vision of Mesopotamian and Greek mythology. Number 16, Hithelgeir, Itkia. Shrouded in dense mists of the Finnish fens, occluded mystery, primordial pagan myth, and distant history, the single untitled track of this album offers a disquieting collage of warped folk and warbling music box melodies, ethereal drums, decrepit arcane drone and distorted harmonies, a gentle, intoxicating magic bleeding into your psyche. 15, Silent Garden, Alice's Pure Dream. My current favourite comfy synth project, if it can be included within that realm, a bucolic blend of enchanting melodies and dappled woodland charm from the Indonesian forest synth spellcaster. Number 14, Windcrawler, Poet's Blood. A monumental successor to Obsidian Swords for the Heaven Dwellers, Poet's Blood is an album of cinematic bombast and grandeur, shrouded in hauntological claustrophobia and patiently unfolding drama. An epic incarnation of dark dungeon synth, filmed through the crackling dystopian VHS lens flare of Godspeed-style post-rock. Number 13, Guild of Lore, Return to Winterstead. Guild of Lore is surely one of my favourite projects from the verdant world of Dungeon Synth, and Guildmaster Inksmith, aka Jason Shook, is one of the most talented composers, sound designers and world builders I know of. There are few fantasy lands as vividly crafted as the characters, locations and bustling life of Winterstead, and this return really does feel like comforting an excitingly expected sensation of approaching home. Number 12, Umarth, Until I Am Slain. The most badass album of medieval dungeon synthwave released this year, and not even the only one. Bador's Heroic Viking album is also exhilarating fun, but Umarth's Until I Am Slain has some keenly sharpened deadliness about it, with steely serious tracks like I Never Gave a Fuck About Your Code of Honor, making it as serious as it is exciting. Number 11, Maidenhair the Adder Witch. A masterpiece and another defining moment in Maidenhair's discography. From Madrigals and Pavanes to Tangerine Dream to Malfed to somewhere as yet uncharted, this is an album that leads you into a comfortably familiar, half-remembered, long-forgotten unknown, playing on the hauntological feelings of Britain's eerie, pastoral future psych electronica and the fundamental atmospheric qualities of the crumbling ancient decay of Dungeon Synth, a journey that chills you with its exquisite turns of composition, reframing each refrain through mirrors refracting the sounds of your musical reference points, time and space, a reverie for future past lives. Number 10, Our Son, Bone Dust. One of several excellent albums of dismal ambience and dark, noisy drones from the artist this year. Bone Dust, recorded using the modulated sonification of human bones, offers wraiths haunting the layers of drones, taking a sinisterly tangible essence, enhancing the depths of these pieces as morbid waves of echoing reverb noise, mournful eddies of melody, and occasional shimmers of light as the spirits reveal themselves. Number 9, Tomb Wizard, None Darker. Another difficult pick between artist releases here. It was hard to choose between this and Moss Troll's Urn of Earth for Brandon Loper tapes in my top 10, but None Darker captures both the meditative earth ambience from the wretched Moss Troll, as well as some of the outsider noise of my formative years. None Darker reminds me as much of the CDRs from the likes of Students of Decay, Digitalis, Blackest Rainbow and Not Fun, which characterised my 2000s, as it does the current era of meditative, droning dungeon synth. The melding of those two strands of ambience is a profoundly affecting one, and Brandon has produced a perfect combination of ghostly melodies and murky resonance. At 8, Backed Arquiano. Kay Lemos of Katira's haunting project of doomy ambience is designed to soundtrack the evolving ecosystems of primordial microbial life and photosynthetic flora, and conjures some potent sensations in doing so. Lilted melodies sink into soupy ambience, swimming among the kaleidoscope of psychedelia forming across each album from this project, but Arquiano offered my favourite experience of them all. At 7, Forgotten Relic, Cult of the Jeweled Dagger. A beautiful, lugubriously paced album of dark dungeon doom that hides many emotive secrets and makes me feel like I'm in a heavily opiated version of Mogwai's Come On Die Young, with its sighing melodic lines of sombre melancholy recalling the haunted moods of that album, as well as addictively deep echoes of the decaying hauntological hypnagogia of Ghost. At 6, another artist that I could choose so many projects and releases from, particularly the arboreal resonances of woodland spells, but I shall select Nocturnal Apparitions Ephialtes for number 6 in my list. Hypnagogic industrial dungeon synth intended to induce a heightened state of euphoric anxiety from the masterful evergreen roots. At number 5, Ain Del Medir, Star Lore. Sublime, transportive winter synth with a celestial luminosity that is as endearingly warming and emotionally soothing as it is starkly minimal and icy cool. An album that's hardly left my stereo since it released in February. Number 4, Hefod Ban, Sinahite. Over a couple of demos and album, this band was shifted through Cascadian post-black metal and brutish folk-shaded war metal to this unique soundscape of post-rock, folk, dungeon synth and dark ambient that complements their wide and wild-ranging journey of anti-modern mutations in inspired form. There is nothing quite like this album, or indeed this band. Number 3, Woodland Meditation 2. A profoundly calming, transportive and meditative experience from an artist whose many projects I return to frequently: Forsaken Keep, Nebula Passage, Dark Cascadian Forests, which also narrowly missed out on this list, but most particularly Woodland Meditation never fails to successfully wash away all tension and instill a deeply soothing natural serenity every time I play it. Number 2, Lone Sentinel Adventure Calls Thy Name. Perhaps the greatest chapter committed to tape in the adventures of the Lone Sentinel, one of the most heroic, consistently awesome artists and people in the Dungeon Synth scene, putting out so much inspired black metal and synth projects. With this release, rousing, propulsive medieval marches meet aching heart sentimental melodies, as heroic battles and phantasmal pyrotechnics lead to sorrowful losses and wistful reminiscence in an epic album I've returned to so many times this year. And my number 1, 2023. Some may consider this cheating, but these projects all came as a single set. 5 projects appearing simultaneously under the banner Forge of Titanfire in February, with 7 albums between them. 2 albums of mystic trance by Hand of Quell. Two from the fungal ambient Druid Shroom, Orkhammer's one album of subterranean troll magic. The minimalist RPG soundtrack of Rim Sealed. And the epic sorcery of Enchanted Armor. I am intrigued as to who this is, but I also have a thing for not pressing artists who present projects with an anonymity, because I like to maintain that mythology, so their identity remains a mystery to me, but I am eternally grateful to their work soundtracking so much of my year in most profoundly enjoyable ways. Every release under the Forge of Titanfire banner is an immaculately composed experience of enchanting, magical and mysterious fantasy music, offering everything from exhilarating action to reflective ambience and worlds in between.